Warm greetings to everyone. My name is Anubhav and I'm a FY BBA student from Sayo College of Management Studies. I'm very glad that I got this opportunity to present my views on a topic, and my topic for today is why did Tata Nano fail? Some reasons we know, some we don't. In this topic, I would cover every aspect of Tata Nano, the story behind it, the objectives of creating Tata Nano, the problems related to it, and the possible solutions according to me. So, let's begin. Firstly, let me introduce yourself to Tata Group. Tata Group was founded in the year 1919 by Mr. Jamshedji Tata with a clear motive of serving people before their profits. Later on, to establish their wit in the automobile industry under the chairmanship of Mr. J.R.D. Tata, the Tata Group established Tata Motors in the year 1945. Tata Motors proved to be excellent in the field of automobile industry. The current chairman of the Tata Group is Mr. Natarajan Chandrasekharan. After the retirement of Mr. J.R.D. Tata, the chairmanship of the Tata Group was handed over to none other than the business tycoon of India, Mr. Ratan Tata. Ratan Tata became the chairman of the Tata Group in the year 1991. He always kept the morals and ethics of the Tata Groups before anything else and always had an upper hand when it comes to charity. One day, Ratan Tata was on his way in his vehicle in very heavy rains, and besides his window, he saw that a family of four, husband, wife, and two children, was struggling on a scooter in that heavy rains. He thought that what would be more worse than the scooter getting slipped, and exactly the same thing happened the very next moment. The scooter got slipped in front of his car, and the whole family was heavily injured. He had a thought that why can't every Indian afford a car? We being Tata Motors, why don't we provide every Indian with a car? That thought process was in a continuous process in his mind, and after few months, they came up with a brand new Tata Nano. Tata Nano was announced in the market as a significant car for every Indian in just rupees 1 lakh. Wow. With Tata's 90 years of trust, and it was highly appreciated, this project was highly appreciated by the former US President Barack Obama. The objectives of creating Tata Nano was to firstly to make it cost efficient, which was a checkbox for them, to reach every Indian possible. This was the main motive to create Tata Nano, to target the lower middle class segment, which they were doing financially, and to mostly impact the rural areas, which would not only be affordable to them but also increase their standard of living. Now, a car in rupees 1 lakh with Tata's 90 years of trust, what would be the marketing situation? I'll tell you the situation. The market literally shook up. It created havoc in the minds of its competitors. It was highly advertised that the world's cheapest car will be on roads. The world's cheapest car is overbooked by 1 lakh bookings. The world's cheapest car is creating panic all over the market. Now a car with rupees 1 lakh, it glittered every Indian's mind and created havoc in the minds of the opponents. So, what is the problem in that? What created the decline in Tata Nano? I'll tell you the problem. The main problem here, the first and the foremost, the main problem of Tata Nano was the word cheap. The word cheap was so highly advertised by Tatas that it gave a tag of cheap to Tata Nano. And that tag of cheap was backed by the tag of unreliability. And people came in talks like, okay, my friend is going to buy a car, and that car is the world's cheapest car. So that cheap, and according to human tendency, the person might be cheap inside with his thoughts and perspective, but he would never like to walk on a road with cheap tag on his face. The second problem was the Singur West Bengal protest. Now, many of us don't know about this protest. I'll tell you about it. As Tata Nanos were overbooked, Tata planned to plant a production factory in Singur, which is located in West Bengal, to meet their production targets. Now, the problem here was that the building was all set to produce Tata Nanos, but the then opposition leader of West Bengal, Miss Mamta Banerjee, along with group of farmers, protested towards that building, and the whole building was destroyed there and then. After few months, the then Chief Minister of Gujarat, Shri Narendra Modi, gave a green flag to Tatas and allowed them to plant a production factory in Sanand, Gujarat. The main problem here was that this all process of shifting took more than 24 months, and in that 24 months it couldn't meet the production targets according to that date fixed, and resulted in delayed deliveries for the customers, which degraded the trust of people towards Tatas. The third problem was the price fluctuations. As this process of shifting took more than 24 months, the inflation in the market then rised. The cost of raw materials, the cost of engineering products went high. And the car which was advertised to be sold in rupees 1 lakh, it never went in rupees 1 lakh. It always hiked up to rupees 1 lakh 20, 1 lakh 50, 1 lakh 80, even 2 lakhs, which messed up every Indian's budget to buy Tata Nano. The other problem was the perception of cars for Indian. Now, comparing to foreign countries, in foreign countries, people use car for their daily needs, their daily utilities. But in India, a car is also stated as a status symbol. They might not use car in their everyday needs, but the car should be competent enough to make their neighbors and relatives jealous. Yeah, that is the Indian tendency. So, this car didn't sounded as a status symbol. The perception of cars were different for Indians, and the perception of nano became different. So this was the main root of the problem. The other problem was car getting blast. Now this problem sounded as an icing on a cake for Tata Nano. The cars were getting dismantled in the middle of the roads, and some were getting fire in it. Some were actually reported as they got fired. So this negative news spread all over the world within weeks. So these were the main some of the main problems that I stated. Now the question is, do problems don't have solutions? I would say every problem has solutions. I have noted down some possible solutions which could have been taken at that point of time to revive Tata Nano. The first solution would have been the eradication of the word cheap. Ratan Tata once in his interview stated himself that we made a blunder by advertising Tata as the world's cheapest car. The cheap word would have been replaced by the word affordable, economical, and etc. The second thing is that involvement of the marketing team. Now, the car, as in the case of the car getting blast, only 3 to 4 cars were reported blast. Rest all thousands of cars were moving properly on the roads. This weapon, the marketing team could use this weapon to tackle that situation. But the lack of involvement of marketing team resulted that negative news to spread all over the world. Third one was the change in design or structure. Because of its design, the opponents used to call it as a four-wheeler auto rickshaw, a walking matchbox, and etc. This sounded really bad for Tatas, and people started relating that thing, the four-wheeler rickshaw thing, with Tata Nano. And because of its design or structure, it hardly attracted any youngsters towards it. So the slight changes in design or structure would have been done in that case. Other solution would be that increasing in the performance value. If your objective one of the objective is to make mostly impact the rural areas, then you should have been analyzed the rural areas, the rural roads, because Tata Nano didn't ever suited rural roads, and it was mostly gone. It was eradicated from the rural areas. The Tatas were eradicated from the rural areas as it never suited the rural roads. So increasing the performance value according to rural needs would have been done in that case. The another solution would have been avoiding delayed deliveries. If you are acquiring a place, not only the financial value of that place should have been considered, but also the political and moral values of that place should have been considered, which lacked in this case. And the Singur West Bengal protest happened because of that. So the conclusion of this is that, like every coin has two sides, every product or service has two sides. The one side which we have planned well, the other side is a suspense to us, which could hit us at any point of time, and we should have been ready for it at any moment of time, because it can occur us occur in front of us anytime and could devast the whole solution, devast the whole product. So that's it from my side. Thank you for your patience.